Hello everybody. So in today's video we're going to prepare for date night. We haven't been on a date in quite a while, so we're going to go to the movies tonight, and we didn't really want to go out for dinner tonight, so I'm going to make a crock pot meal so it's ready right before we have to go. We're going to do Korean beef short ribs with a sauce that's going to go over rice, and then I'm going to make a creme brulee dessert. So I've got my crock pot set up here. So I'm going to use one of my crock pot liners. Not necessary if you don't have them. I found the only place I can find these is at Save On in Canada here. These are specifically meant for the crock pot. You can't just use a regular plastic bag. You have to use something specifically meant for this. I have the one box left to use here. You literally just fold it over like that. Makes it very, very convenient. Okay, so now we're just going to put everything right into the crock pot here. So let's cut up the short ribs here. I bought 3 packages for this. Beef short ribs here are kind of expensive, so this meal is going to be quite expensive. That's why I saved it for date night. This package here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slices in here, and it cost $19.63. This one, same amount, $18.91, and this one is $13.92. So it is a little bit of an expensive meal, but that's why I don't make it very often. They have it vacuum sealed into the package here. I'm just trying to get it undone. Okay. I have yet to try ordering meat from my local butcher yet. That is on my agenda to try and do one day. I don't really have a ton of freezer space. I think that's the reason why I haven't done it yet. But once I do, I plan to get, when we buy a house, hopefully soon, I plan to get a upright freezer for my freezer meals, and a really long, large freezer for storing all the stuff that I grow in the garden. So I'm just going to cut these into chunks, just like this. I'm going to throw them right in. This is how I make this dish, so if you've seen it done a little differently, that's okay. This is one of Ryan's favorites, so another reason why I'm making it. I think we're probably going to see the new Transformers movie. We'll see when we get there, but I think that's probably the one we're going to end up seeing. Should be fun. Haven't been to the movies in quite a while. Let's just open this one too. They haven't vacuum sealed to the bottom of the package here, so that's why I'm ripping it open. Finish cutting up the rest here, and then we'll make the sauce. We do have to leave a little bit earlier to make it to the movies on time, so that's why I'm going to put it in the crock pot and make sure it's ready on time. Dinner doesn't always get done on time if I don't plan ahead. I just like cutting them into chunks like that. I usually leave 1 bone per piece. You can take the bones out too if you wish. I find it's easiest this way. These will cook down too quite a bit. Because this is going to have a sauce, I'm just going to cook regular rice. I'm not going to cook make fried rice. A lot of times I probably would make fried rice, but I think for this we're just going to do regular rice. So now, before I put any sauce or anything in, I'm just going to give it some salt and pepper here. You always season in, I like to season in layers. So I'll season the meat separate, and then I will season the sauce that we're going to put on top as well. And then after, before I serve it, I'll taste it and make sure the seasonings are right. A little bit more. Okay, I think that's good. Now we can move on to the sauce. So I pulled out all the ingredients for the sauce, just so you don't have to watch me go back and forth. Okay, so we're going to chop up some green onion. Let me get my knife here. It says about 8 green onions. This is what I have on hand. I think this will be fine. I cut these off of what I was regrowing on my windowsill. I'm not sure if anybody knows, but if you put the ends of your green onions in a cup of water, they'll continue to grow. So we're just going to put those right into the bowl here. Okay, now we need some chili garlic sauce. We do use this quite a bit in our house. 2 tablespoons. It does have a little bit of a spice to it, so just a little warning. Okay, sesame oil. I like a little bit extra, so I'm going to add a little bit extra. It says 1.5 teaspoons. I'm going to eyeball this. About there. And then some soy sauce. It says 1/4 cup. Let me get my measuring cup here. I have 2 open here for some reason. I'm not sure why. So we're going to use one of them. Okay, 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I'll give you a little bit closer look here. Okay, I just put the soy sauce in. This is what it looks like so far. Okay, and we need about 4 teaspoons of rice wine vinegar. Rice wine vinegar you can use liberally. This is something I have learned about Asian cooking. So just do that roughly. I'm going to stir it a little bit here. Some brown sugar. You need about 1/4 cup. Oh, this is a 1/2 cup measure, so we're going to do half of this scoop here. This will more than likely be to balance out the soy sauce. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch. Get another spoon here. Just to give the so the sauce isn't so runny and sticks to the meat a little bit better. Also so it sticks to the rice when we pour it over the rice. I'm just going to get a whisk. Just whisk that up here. Make sure you're putting cornstarch into a cold mixture. Oh, it smells good already and I haven't even put all the stuff in it. Okay, now we need some garlic. It says about 6 cloves, so that is quite a bit. And ginger, it says 1 inch. That's very helpful when you got already pre-cut ginger here. So let's just put, I know because my fiance is Asian and I also really love ginger, so we're going to do, let's just do 2 big scoops here. And we need some olive oil. It says roughly 3 tablespoons. Okay, and the recipe calls for beef broth, but I do not have beef broth, so we're going to use chicken. How much here? 1.5, 2 cups. 2 cups of broth. This is a 1 cup measure. I think I'm going to mix this first before we add this in. Okay. So 1, 2. Get one of my reusable lids here so we can finish using this a different day. I do have these linked on my Amazon if you would like to look at them. Okay, I think salt and pepper, and that's it. I'm not going to add too much salt because it does have a lot of soy sauce in this. We're going to add lots of pepper though. Okay, I'm just going to give this a little tiny taste. I know it has cornstarch in it, so it might have a little powdery taste, but that's okay. I'm just going to taste the sauce itself. Ooh, that's good. I feel like it's missing something. I think I need to add a little bit more chili garlic paste. I'm going to add 1 more. Okay, now we'll leave it like this, and I'm going to put it in the crock pot over top of the ribs, and later on if I need to add or adjust something, we will. Okay, let's take this and we're just going to make sure we pour it over everything. Lots of garlic. Mix it around here so everything's covered. And then I'm just going to let this cook down for a few hours here, and then we'll test it. Now we can move on to making the creme brulee. Okay, so for the creme brulee, we're going to start with the egg mixture. This recipe calls for 5 egg yolks. I'm only going to use 4. And the reason is the last time I made this recipe, it was a little too thick and eggy. And I want it to be a little bit more creamy, so I'm going to use 4 egg yolks instead of 5. So let's start with the heavy cream. We need 2 cups of heavy cream. Okay, so this is a 2-cup measure. Okay, 2 cups. Last time it was a little too thick, and it threw the texture of the dessert off. So that's why we're going to do 4 instead of 5. And then we need to put 1/3 cup of sugar. Right about there. I should have did this right into a pot. Just one sec. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that properly before I started. So this should have been right into the pot here. I like to add the sugar directly into the cream so that while it's cooking, it's dissolving the sugar properly, so that when you're putting the dessert together, it's a creamy texture rather than grainy. Okay, so now we're going to heat this mixture on the stove. I'm just heating it up here. All we're doing is heating up the milk. That's it, the heavy cream, so it can be put into the custard. I have my oven preheated to 325. These once the custard mixture is in the ramekins, it has to go in the oven for a little bit. So we're going to slowly heat this up. I have it on medium heat here so it doesn't burn. So while we're waiting for this to heat up, I'm going to show you the egg portion. Okay, so I'm just going to reuse this bowl. So we need 4 egg yolks only. Oh, I need a bowl to put the... Actually, let's put the stuff in here. This is how I've always separated eggs and egg yolks, is I just let the whites fall through my fingers. I know there's many methods for this. It's just how I've always done it. Just letting it fall through my fingers. Oh! I'll probably use this in scrambled eggs or something. The heavy cream won't make a difference that's in the cup there. Okay, put that right in. Now we're going to mix this up with some vanilla. So just beating up the eggs. It doesn't matter that the heavy cream is already in there from the bowl. 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla to basically to your taste. I do like to add a little bit of vanilla. I have said this many times in videos. Specifically with this recipe, it gives the custard a lot more flavor. Okay, and then a tiny, tiny pinch of salt. The salt is optional. I find it brings out the flavors. Okay, so now we just need to wait for the cream mixture to heat up. Okay, so our milk mixture is done heating up here. I'm just going to stir it for a minute here. So the reason we heat the milk mixture is to activate the thickening of the egg yolks. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to do this very slowly because we do not want to cook the eggs. And this is extremely hot. We don't want to make scrambled eggs, so we're going to do a little bit at a time. This is called acclimating the eggs to the hot mixture. If you do this too quickly, you will end up with scrambled eggs. We don't want scrambled eggs. So as this is going into the eggs, it's heating them up and it's activating their thickening portion of the egg. Okay, I think we can pour the rest in. They've been acclimated now. Okay, now one other thing that I like to do is to put this through a strainer, a sieve. It makes the texture a little bit creamier if there's anything in there from the egg or anything like that. So we're going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to take this, just move this over a little bit. I'm going to take this small one, just put it right over the pot. I don't want to dirty another bowl, so we're just going to pour it right back into the pot here. And then we're just going to put it right through the strainer. Okay, and now we have our mixture that we can put into our ramekins. So let me clean up the mess a little bit. Move this over a little. I have one of my baking pans here, and we're going to, actually let's fill these first. I want to make sure these fit in here first. I don't know how many this is going to make, so let's hope that it does 6. So let's fill these. I have pretty small ramekins. They do come in different sizes. You want to leave about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch at the top for the sugar layer that goes on top afterwards. Oh, we're only going to make 4 out of this. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we'll put these away, and then we're going to put them in the pan here. Okay, so now let's put these in our pan. I like to make things symmetrical when I'm baking. They do cook better, believe it or not, when you make things symmetrical. Okay, and then now you're just going to pour some water to about 1/4 to halfway up the ramekin. This just helps them stay nice and moist while they're baking. Okay, I'm just going to take a knife here and pop some of these bubbles, just so they look nicer when they're cooked. Some of them don't want to break. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put these in the oven now for 30 to 35 minutes at 325. When they're done, I'll show you what they look like when they come out and the next step. Okay, so I just took these out of the oven and they look set. I'm just shaking it a little bit here. So I'm going to take these out of the water and I'm going to put these in the fridge to cool a little bit, and then once they're cooled we'll do the sorry about that. Once they're cooled, we'll do the sugar coating on top, and I'll show you how to do that with the blowtorch. So we're going to put the sugar, the crunchy sugar coating on top of the creme brulee. I have my blowtorch here. You can do this without a blowtorch. Highly recommend using a blowtorch, it's better. But if you put these in your oven on broil for a couple minutes, it'll do the same thing, but the torch is much better. So we're going to take about a roughly 1/2 tablespoon here, and I'm just going to coat the top of each of the creme brulees. Just nicely like that, so there's a thin layer. I'll give you a closer look here. You don't want to add too much sugar, but enough for a coating. I just like to spread it around with my finger. It's a little easier. Like that. There we go. When I made creme brulee the very first time, I was super intimidated because I was like, oh my, that's a fancy dessert, but it's actually quite simple. Very simple dessert to make. Okay, hopefully we didn't put too much sugar on those. Okay, let me see if I can remember how to work my torch here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take it, and you have to do this very lightly. You're going to melt the sugar. It'll look like bubbles. You got to do it really fast, and don't stay in one spot too long, otherwise you'll burn the sugar. So right now I'm just melting the sugar. This does take a minute to do. The result is gorgeous though. What we're looking for is a nice golden brown. I like it to a darker to golden. Ooh, side of it's a little hot. Oh. Can't do that with both hands. It's got a safety lock on it. So melted the sugar, and now we're just going to brown it a little bit. So you just keep going over it, constantly moving your torch so you don't burn it. This gives a nice crispy, crunchy sugar layer on top that is part of this dessert and gives it the elegant, delicate kind of feel to this dessert. Needs a little bit more than that. And then as this cools, the sugar will harden, and when you eat it, you just crack it. So I think that one's good. Now we just need to do it 4 more times. This is basically caramelizing the sugar on the top to give it a really, like a caramelized flavor. Almost like a caramely taste. Let's give this one a little bit more color. I can feel my torch is running out here. At least we got this finished though. That's good. I'll have to go buy some more butane for this. There, I think that's good. I don't want to overdo it. I probably could have put a little bit more color on these two, but I think they're good. So there we go. There's the creme brulee finished product. Now I just need to chill them in the fridge. I'm going to check on the beef short ribs now. Okay, so I just tasted the beef short ribs here, and they needed a little bit of sugar. They are quite spicy. I probably shouldn't have added that second amount of chili sauce. It's okay. I add a little bit of sugar to mellow it out a little bit. I am going to add a little bit more cornstarch. This isn't quite thick enough for what I'm wanting, so we're just going to add a little bit more. This is the time to do it so that it actually thickens. Just going to mix it up. There we go. I can see it thickening more now already. Okay, and then we're just going to finish letting it cook, and I'll show you the finished product when it's done. So I made some rice, and the beef short ribs are done. I'll show you what those look like. Just one sec here. Okay, I just needed to get a spoon. I tasted this and it tastes delicious. So now we're just going to dish some up. I'm in different clothes, ready for the movies. So let's dish some of our dinner up here. Take some of the rice. And then we just put some of this on top with all of the sauce. Just like that. And then it's done. Here's a close-up look. Obviously, I'm going to take the bones out. There you go. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a look at the texture. The texture was perfect this time. So the one egg that we did less was perfect. And it's delicious too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Making creme brulee and beef short ribs. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.